Hello, this is Ghost Rider 615. I think I will entitle this segment Sowers of Division. We should all be proud of who we are. I know for myself, I am unequivocally and unapologetically Black, American, African. Okay? And each of us, whether we're European, Chinese, whatever ethnic group you are, you should be proud of your heritage and where you come from or where you think you come from, because we all originated in one particular area. But I don't need to go into that right now because I don't want to sow any seeds of hate myself. But I want to talk about the sowers of seeds of hate. What do you think would happen if the top 1 to 5% of the people who have all of the money on this earth and all of the property on this earth had to actually take care of their own assets themselves? They couldn't do it. So what did they do? They created a system in order for them to be able to profit on the divisive tactics that they have sown into our system and our world. Okay, and what I mean by that is, do you know that there are more poor and middle class people who don't have enough money to actually live the life that they should be living? If they ever came together and demanded an equal share of the pie, what do you think would happen? Let's go back to America when it first started, and they talked about no taxation without representation. Why were they fighting that? Because the people who had were treating the people who had not in a way that was dehumanizing, and it was sucking up all of the profit from people who didn't have it to give. Okay? And it's the same thing. The tactics have never changed, but we can't see it. So those of us who came over as slaves or indentured servants or whatever, the system has been worked all over the world, where we have the have-nots, and sometimes it's not about color. It's about who is trying to take advantage of a situation or using a system to take advantage of people so that they can make more money and they can live the lifestyle that they want to live. And if we keep up division amongst the people who have not, then we can continue to live the life of the haves. Okay? For example, indentured servants and slaves, when they first came to this country, used to work side by side. It didn't matter how you look or where you came from. You were a have-not. You didn't have money. So, therefore, everybody was grouped together. And you had the have-nots here, and that included Europeans, Africans, and what have you. And then you had the nobility or the landowners here. They came to the conclusion after there were some uprisings in colonies like Virginia, and this happened all over the world. Why you think they're so mad at Haiti? Okay, all this time, they're angry at Haiti because Haiti fought back against the haves, They fought back against the French, and they won, and they were the have-nots, and they don't like that. And this system is made up of people who have that band together with these think tanks and these secret societies or what have you, and they buy up our legislators, our presidents, and all of the people that they need to buy up to continue living the life that they live, while we fight against each other for the scraps that they leave behind. And we don't have enough money to actually live in an equitable manner. So I'm just trying to appeal to the humanitarian in you, and the intellectual in you, and the spiritual man in you, to understand that we have to, at one time or another, or perish, look at the lie and the system that has been keeping us really in oppression for a long time. And it's not just black people, okay, or African people. The police was created not to look out for human beings' welfare, but they were created to watch and care for and protect wealthy landowners' property. This is where you see the police coming out of the overseers and people of that nature, protecting the property of the rich landowners. And those people made the people who were supposed to be protecting their property feel as though they were one of them. This is where I believe the term whiteness came into being and so forth, okay? Because they had to find a way to break those numbers up, okay? Because we were looking at indentured slaves and indentured servants, and maybe outnumbering wealthy landowners, maybe 10, 15 to 1. What would happen if they ever banded together and demanded their equal share, their rights, their land, okay? Then you'd be taking away the prosperity of the rich landowners. So let's look at this today. They've put in the system where they sow division within groups of people, teach us how to hate each other while they take advantage of the system that is in place, i.e., okay, police have sometimes profiled and did certain things to certain groups of people, and a lot of it comes out of hate, not because they did anything wrong. Don't get me wrong now. They're wrongdoers all over. But where does that hate come from and that profiling come from? Okay? Another thing is that we have to understand is who benefits when we pit one group against another. Do you know it was not middle-class people and people in poverty who bailed out banks, took money from Social Security that they had no business, therefore leaving elderly people basically, in dire needs, because that money is going to probably run out soon. And I shudder to think what's going to happen for our young folks who are actually putting in the system and may not be able to get anything out of it. I also want to know the teachings that we get, the indoctrination that we get in the churches and in our schools and all over are actually part of the system that keeps you the way that you are. It's not a problem, I think, if people want to get together in their communities and live with people that they want to live with. That I have no problem with that. I have a problem with when you dehumanize people and you don't make things equal. Okay? And I don't know if equality is something that can be achieved, but I know we can all, especially those who are not part of the 1%, live a better life if we stop hating one another and start seeing things for what they truly are. I'm not here to take up too much of your time and preach, because right now most people who preach can't live by the words that they preach to you. And a lot of times they're taking money from you that you don't have to give and not investing that money back into the community. People don't like you to talk about religion, but I believe that if you're going to talk about spiritual and religious things, that you need to be looking out for the welfare of the people who actually come and have faith in you, who depend on you. Okay? Now, in closing, I'd like to send out a message. And you know who this message usually would pertain to, one particular group of people. But that group of people who are my ancestors and my people have been through a lot. And it's not to say that, we are putting one group ahead of another. We're just doing what every other group does. We're just looking out, trying to look out for ourselves and to get, an equal share of the pie. But this was from a great poet, and her name was Miss Angela. Because we have forgotten our ancestors, our children no longer give us honor. Because we have lost the path our ancestors cleared, kneeling in perilous undergrowth, our children cannot find their way. Because we have banished the God of our ancestors, our children cannot pray. Because the long wail of our ancestors have faded beyond our hearing, our children cannot hear us crying. Because we have abandoned our wisdom of mothering and fathering, our befuddled children have given birth to children they neither want nor understand. Because we have forgotten how to love, the adversary is within our gates and holds us up to the mirror of the world, shouting, "Regard the loveless." Therefore we pledge to bind ourselves again to one another, to embrace our lowliest, to keep company with our loneliest, to educate our illiterate, to feed our starving, to clothe our ragged, to do all the good things, knowing that we are more than keepers of our brothers and sisters. We are our brothers and sisters. In honor of those who toiled and implored God with golden tongues, and in gratitude to the same God who brought us out of hopeless desolation, we make this pledge. This poem was written for a certain segment, but this applies to all the human race. If we continue to sow divisions within us and I'm talking about within the human race. This includes all ethnicities. We will continue to live like paupers and scuffle for money when the rich and the one percenters are living their life or their heaven on earth, while we a lot of times would call it catching hell. So this is just something to think about. This is coming from Ghost Rider 615. It was on my heart to talk about this today, because alone in separate groups, we are powerless. When groups come together for a common goal and a shared reality, we are very powerful, and people have to take notice, and they have to deal with you in an equitable manner. Please like, share, subscribe. Ghost Rider 615. Thank you.